Wish I had more time to put in this work today. I'm calling this video What I Know. I know I can get production. I know I have high voltage on the cell. I know I have low milliamps moving through my cell. I know I'm getting positive polarity pulses. Not necessarily negative with this one, but I am getting positive pulses. I know by adjusting the frequency, I get a higher voltage, which leads to maximum production. I know I have relatively low amp consumption in my entire setup. I know I only have to pulse the cell at less than 20% duty pulse to get the voltage I want. I know you need a diode resistor snubber to stop the feedback on the primary coil that destroys my MOSFETs. I also know this MOSFET works very, very well. I know my matrix switcher allows me to change the waveform that I get. I know I have a strong base concept of a VIC setup. I know my cells perform great and have a very low gap, less than 1 mil. I know that adding resistance to my cells produces much higher voltage, but not much production. This is due to the fact that this device consumes electricity. I do know when that resistance is added, I get a much sweeter, equal opposite polarity pulse. Exactly what we're looking for. I know that breaking the connection entirely produces very much so very high voltages in the cell, overloading my meter in fact, but obviously no production in cells because there's no completed circuit. I know that all my cells in series produce the best results. All my cells in series allow for the highest voltage. All my cells in series allow for the lowest amperage consumption in my cells. AKA, more cells, more voltage, less amperage consumed. I know that thus far, all 3 coils, 4 coils mind you, wound on the same core or bobbin on the same side, allows for the highest efficiency. I also know that I've been able to achieve the highest voltage using a toroid transformer like this. But amp consumption is much higher versus the amount of gas that's produced. But I have been able to produce over that 100 mark, which is 1/10 of a milliliter per minute. I know that reducing down to 1 cell does not provide enough resistance, and there's very little production made. I also know I was able to achieve high voltage, 10 kilovolts, on a transformer much like this one on this iron core. I also know on a transformer very similar to this, I was able to produce my best waveforms ever, as I've referenced in other videos. I also know that I probably never would have made it this far this fast without the help of, and I can't thank you guys enough for helping me on my work. I also know that cell values, capacitance and inductance and resistance are hard to measure on these water cells. I also know the values are different whether or not these things have been used and they have a active charge in it, what I'm calling an active status, versus an idle status, which means they've been sitting not in operation and only have millivolts, very, very few millivolts charge to them. I know I can get incredible production if I can just get my voltage higher at the cells. I know that these high voltage Russian diodes work great. And I know that I need a pulse driver, a PWM, that also has a gate on it, a clock gate, so I can specify a series of blips being delivered to the cells rather than just a continuous stream of blips or power pulses, positive pulses. And trust me, I do know that high voltage is dangerous, so if you do pick up any task that deals with high voltage, do be careful. Always work with it off. Always have a backup off button. Have 2 off buttons. Unplug your stuff. Be safe about it. Been there. You don't want to be it. And I know that if I keep working at this, I will figure it out. I appreciate all of you so much. Much love. In this series of videos, I document my progress on unlocking the secrets of Stanley A. Meyer. For over a decade, I've studied and replicated the devices of Stanley Meyer, specifically the water fuel cell, a device that splits water into hydrogen and oxygen for use as a combustible fuel. Here, I discuss water fuel cell theory in hopes of connecting with other like-minded individuals to unlock the secrets. This is Stan's Revenge.